What is up, everyone? Lauren Sisler here with AL.com. We got Cole Cubelic here with Jocks Radio, three-man front as well as SEC Network, and we are going head-to-head talking Auburn, talking Florida. Auburn going to the swamp. It's going to be hot. It's going to be steamy. It's going to be sticky. Can Auburn get out of the swamp alive to keep that perfect record? We're going to talk about the matchup. And Cole, first and foremost, what is the most intriguing matchup in this game to you?
I think it has to be the Auburn offensive line against Florida's defensive line. Adam Schuler has played pretty good ball inside. I think that was a bit of a weak point for this Florida football team, first week or two, maybe three, and he really came on the last 2-3 weeks of the season and has been a guy that's helped them in the run game. Obviously, we know what they have on the edge. Jonathan Grenard has been the SEC Defensive Player of the Year up to this point, in my opinion, and then Jabari Zuniga, who comes back off injury. We saw him earlier in the year and last year. He can be an elite edge presence, not only rushing the passer, but also against the run. So does Auburn win on first down? And do they stay out of third and longs? If they get into third and long situations, I think that's a problem because Prince Tate has played pretty good ball, but mainly in the run game. I mean, he struggled against Tulane in pass pro, gave up a couple of wins there. And then obviously last week, I didn't think he was great in pass protection against Mississippi State. So these Auburn tackles will have their hands full if they get in third and longs and Florida's able to just tee off and rush the passer.
With Todd Grantham there, I think one of the biggest things, we've seen the pressure that this Florida team has been able to accomplish. 24 sacks, that is, fifth in the Power 5 for sacks on the season. So certainly a big concern there for Auburn, who only has given up 1 sack on the season. So certainly interesting. I think getting Jabari back will be a big critical part of that as well. Then on the flip side of that, you obviously have an Auburn defense that has been tremendous all season long, going up against this offensive line that I think has had some question marks. They're young and experienced. How do you think they match up, and how do you think that they kind of protect their quarterback in Kyle Trask, a young guy that's obviously trying to emerge as the leader on this football team under center?
Yeah, they don't. They don't match up. And they're not going to be able to protect their quarterback. So what it comes down to is how does Dan Mullen and how he implements a plan that could potentially protect his quarterback. Because if you're just talking about Auburn's, I'm talking about a rotation here, 6, 7, 8 defensive linemen against the Florida offensive line, that is a mismatch every single day of the week on every single play. But Dan Mullen, I think you'll see what you saw against Mississippi State a year ago when Florida rolled in, and he knew he had Simmons, he knew he had Sweat, he knew he had an elite front seven, and it was turn and throw, a lot of quick screens out on the perimeter, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, let them make plays, loosen that defense up, and then maybe try to hit some runs in the middle of the defense later in the game. I think a very similar plan here. The problem is Auburn's a great tackling defense. So can they make a living, that being Florida, with some of those quick perimeter plays? I don't think so, because I don't think Auburn's going to allow those to turn into explosive plays, and Auburn still has the bodies to play nickel and dime the majority of the game. That's not something that's foreign to them. That's not something that they don't have the depth to be able to do, and we're seeing Auburn implement a few more pressure packages as well. One thing to watch is play action for Florida. I don't know why, but play action has been pretty effective for Kyle Trask when he's been the quarterback. You watch the Tennessee film, and you got safeties and corners and outside linebackers biting on these play fakes, and for me, I'm wondering why, because Florida flat out can't run the football, but teams continue to bite on the play fakes. So that could be an area of concern for Auburn, but if you're talking O-line versus D-line, it's a total mismatch, and Auburn will dominate that for 4 quarters if Dan Mullen allows that matchup to determine who wins the game.
Okay, and we talk a little bit about the coaching. Obviously, Gus Malzahn calling the plays this year. He's dialed up some great game plans, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. So far, I feel like they're on point in that regard. Does that change when they go into the swamp? Do you think he makes things a little more vanilla, or are we going to see more of the same from Gus Malzahn and dialing up these play calls, distributing the football, and giving his team a chance to win on the ground and in the passing game?
I think, based on the way Gus Malzahn has handled himself this year, and you've been around him for a long time, you've watched him in press conferences, the way he's handled himself personally, the chip on his shoulder that he seems to have when he addresses the media, and the way that he has called games early this season, I think it'll be more so of what you're referencing. I think he goes down there early and wants to try to put something in that's going to rattle that Florida defense, maybe silent the crowd a little bit early on, and maybe try to take some momentum away of a Florida football team that, listen, those fans have a lot to be excited about right now. They're undefeated in the top 10. They're going with some sweet retro uniforms, 2:30 CBS game. I mean, that place is going to be rocking, and it is one of the most difficult places to play in all of college football. It is. The cool thing about playing in Gainesville, well, I guess it's not cool if you're actually one of the players, but the student section is literally like this table wide. That's how far the student section is from one side of the bench, and that's usually where the offense goes. And so you come off the field, and they're literally picking you out by name and just barking at you between every series. It's intimidating. And if Auburn gets off to a slow start, that may become a bit of a factor. I think maybe watch for speed and tempo, go a little bit fast to try to negate some of the crowd noise early. But Gus Malzahn's going to continue to mix and match it. Like I said, the luxury last week was being up, letting Bo Nix go rip a few, build his confidence, but you're still going to see Schwartz and Shivers on the perimeter. You're still going to see the quarterback run game be utilized. You're still going to see some of the quick throws, and they're definitely going to take their shots down the field.
All right, so we get to our predictions, and of course, I think confidence playing a big factor in this. Of course, going on the road, certainly going to be difficult for Auburn, but I think you hit the nail on the head. They got to get out to a fast start, obviously get some production going on offense, get that confidence, continue to gain momentum from that confidence. I got Auburn winning this one, 34-24. That's my score.
34 points, wow.
Yeah.
That would be impressive against this defense because you've got dudes on this Florida defense. We mentioned Grenard and Zuniga, Alan Schuler inside. You got David Reese at linebacker. C.J. Henderson's coming back on the back end. It's a very talented defense. I don't think Auburn gets to 34. I'm going to give Auburn 24 points in this game, but I think Florida has trouble on offense. I don't think they can get it going. I think 24-10, Auburn wins in the Swamp.